Welcome back, everyone. In today's episode of the Knife Chat series, I'm going to talk about my Spyderco collection. Huge shout out to Big Hams and Andrew5117 and possibly a few others. If I forgot, my apologies. But they've been commenting on some of my videos, most likely my shorts, about doing a collection video. Now, while I would love to throw all my knives on this table right now, I can imagine it would just be stacking on top. And I don't say that to sound like a ginormous DB, but I have quite a few knives. So I'm going to break it down to different collection videos. Today I thought I would start off with my Spyderco collection, and I'm leaving out the Manix 2, Manix XL, because I do have a collection video that focuses on just those knives. I also have a PM2 video, collection video, so those aren't going to be featured. And then I'm planning to do a Shaman video and a military video where collections of both those models, because I have quite a few of those. You'll see some duplicates here as well, but not as many as of the 4 other models I just mentioned. So we'll jump right in. I'll really touch on kind of where I got the knife, well, not where specifically, but when I got the knife, how much I paid for it, any type of customizations I've done to it, and whatnot. So, and I've listed everything. I'm going to go in model name order. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the Spyderco Bodacious, and this is it right here. So I picked up the stock model in mid-June of 2024, and it just has black G10. This is an S30V steel, and I paid, I think, about $260 for this one. I went ahead and saw, well, Lynch Northwest dropped, they released an email talking about the new samurai milling scales, titanium scales that they done. And it has, it was a kit that came with the scales as well as one of their Lynch deep carry clips. So I picked that up. This is the Dark Abyss finish. And I'm a sucker for titanium, so I really like how this turned out. It's a great fit, and it does only utilize this side of the liner, which is the compression lock side. For me, I have dropped a video on this, and just a caveat, I just want to put this out there first. So if you see any knives in this collection as I go through them, and I don't have a full review or a first impressions video up for it, let me know. And if you want to see a more in-depth video of it, I will absolutely put that on the list. So this may help me decide which ones to make a video for next. So I just want to put that out there, throw that in the comments, and I'll be happy to add that to the list of videos that I do next. So for me, this is kind of like a slimmed down Shaman, right? The detent nub, well, not the detent, I'm sorry, excuse me. The nub that is common on the Shaman right about here would hit your finger as it closed, but this one can close all the way. And while you'll feel this portion of the tang contact your finger, it doesn't push it out in any way, and it does go all the way shut, where the Shaman will kind of get stuck right about there. It was never really an issue for me, but I know that's something that in the knife industry people have talked about. This does feel thinner behind the blade. A thinner blade stock compared to the Shaman. I love the Shaman, so I have plenty of models on that. And again, I'll be doing a collection video on that, but I do appreciate this one as well. For the price, I feel like it's a little high, but then again, a lot of Spyderco models have gone up. I am looking forward to them putting out exclusive and sprints of this model. Hopefully that they do. And hopefully they can keep those prices within a certain range to give more value, especially with upgraded steels and potentially different scale materials. So yeah, this is the Bodacious. And if you're curious, the scale, the kit was about $197 when I purchased it. I've seen them go on sale quite often, so if you just subscribe to Lynch Northwest and you have this model and you want to get some aftermarket titanium hardware, scales as well as the clip, You should subscribe to his newsletters. Next up, we have the Delica 4. This one I picked up in mid-September of 2020. And it's actually a combination of two knives. So Boomer52, who I'm familiar with on Blade forums, he does custom scales for a lot of Spyderco models. And so when he came out, I saw one of his models pop up. Well, it's not his model, but saw one of his customized Delica 4s pop up. I picked it up, and it's a burlap micarta right here, and then uses white linen bone liners. What was it? Bone linen. Yeah, it's bone linen liners right there. And then I took my DLT Trading Exclusive Delica 4 that has the crew wear steel with a, I think it was the OD green FRN or FRCP. I feel like they interchange those sometimes, but I took that model and I ended up selling what's not left here. So I took the blade off that model and added it to Boomer 52's knife that I picked up on Blade forums. I like this knife because it's slim. It's kind of it's more what I would consider EDC friendly, right? It's not a huge knife, but it sits well in the pocket. I do have a Lynch Northwest aftermarket deep carry clip on it as well. Yeah. Next up, I have the Endela Lightweight. This one I picked up in July of 2024. I do have a first impressions video on this one. So if you're interested, check that out. I'll do my best to post all the links in the description so you can go right to that video. I also do have an entire series just on Spyderco, so you can check that out as well. This one has the Micro Melt PD1 steel, and it's using a burgundy Cabernet type of color on the, this is FRCP, I believe. Yeah, FRCP or FRN. Again, I feel like Spyderco interchanges those, so for the sake of argument, I'm just gonna call it FRN for now. And it's got a lot of good grip. It is the typical lightweight scales that they use, the design. It's got a nice dark tone red to it. For me, when we get to the next knife, I really like this one because it's right in between the Endura 4 and the Delica 4. And so it's kind of a happy medium. Got good ergonomics on it. Just use that locking mechanism. Next up, we have the Endura 4. I picked this one up in June of 2024. I think it was around $223 for this knife. And then I had some points saved up at Knife Center, so I was able to get a bit of discount after tax. So I had the Knife Center exclusive Pack-A-Wood version of this, but one of my buddies really liked it, so I ended up selling that to him. And I kind of missed it, so I went and picked this one up, and I am a sucker for titanium knives, so I picked this particular variation, and it has a Damascus steel. I believe it uses a VG10 core. You know, for me, Damascus has always been kind of a, you know, it's an interesting way to describe the blade because there's Damascus steel, Damascus, and it's not true Damascus because I believe for it to be true Damascus it has to be made there. But I'm not going to jump into that right now. It could be a whole separate debate, but I like the way that it looks, so that's why I picked this model up. This, again, is kind of the larger side between the Endela and Delica 4, but I do like large knives. It's very slim, fits the hand well. Yeah. Next up, we have the Gale Bradley 2. This one I picked up off Blade forums. I picked it up used. So the secondary market, and it was back in June of 2020. No, sorry, September of 2020. I paid about $170. This one has aftermarket black canvas. This is canvas or linen? I think it's canvas. Micarta scales. It also came with the Lynch Northwest deep carry pocket clip. And now it has blue anodized hardware, which is starting to fade, but it's there. This uses a M4 steel. It's got a hollow grind. It's hollow grind blade. And yeah, this has always been one of my favorites in the Spyderco lineup. It's got that smooth opening, and it's running on washers. I do appreciate Spydercos. A lot of their models still run on washers. I think I only have maybe 1 or 2 in this entire collection that runs on bearings. Maybe just 1 actually. Oh, two. We'll get to that. Anyways, so yeah, this is the Gale Bradley 2 or GB2. I like the ergonomics on this. I had the GB1 as well for the longest time, but I actually prefer this over the 1. So I ended up selling the 1. Which, to be honest, if it was up to me, I would keep every single knife I come across. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I don't have those type of funds to be able to keep all the knives in my collection. And eventually you're just selling knives to buy new knives, right? All right, so again, I do like that model. So I picked up the Blade HQ Exclusive. This one came out, or when I picked it up, was late November of 2023. So about a little less than a year ago. And then this one was $193. This is using that G10 or natural G10 scales. As you can see, it's translucent, so you can see the liners. You can see the milling in the liners. It uses M4 steel, which is one of my favorites. This and Cruwear, they really get the job done. They, I think they're a great performer. They're not stainless, but as long as you take care of it, it's I think it works really well. And I picked up a lot of different models with the Jade Natural G10 from Blade HQ. I believe that is their specific exclusive. They've done plenty of models, lots of Spyderco ones as well. So I picked up quite a bit of this particular variation of Spyderco models. All right. The next one we have is the Karahawk. This uses a VG10 steel, and it is manufactured in Seki, Japan. This one is late February of 2017 is when I picked this up. I spent about a little less than $200 for it, but I really like karambit style knives. So when I saw this, and I'm sure this has been out for quite a while, but when I picked it up, it's when I started getting into the hobby. And I just thought, wow, I gotta have it. And I really enjoy the Emerson Wave. So that way, as you're pulling it out of your pocket, it catches and it opens it up. Ready for use. I tend to carry this one when I have a fixed blade inside my waistband. So for me, that's a good combination to use this knife. Only from my opinion, doesn't really tackle EDC tasks as well as like a draw point. But every once in a while, I will bring this out. Next up, we got the Lil Native. This is the River's Edge Cutlery Exclusive. This is their recipe for their exclusives, at least the more popular exclusive they have, specifically for the Spydercos, I believe. I think they've done a few other models that aren't Spyderco in the same type of recipe. But this one has the flat dark earth coated CTS 204P steel, and it's using the OD green scales. I got this in, let's see, late August of 2023. And I picked this one up for $165. River's Edge Cutlery does have a point system, so you are able to earn rewards to kind of get a discount on your on a future purchase, so that's nice. I have put this to use. I don't carry this one that often just because I prefer a larger knife, but as a secondary backup knife, this is a nice one to have. Oh no, it's doing that thing again, so this is focusing back and forth. I don't know what's going on, but apologize for that. So I might not be able to zoom in as close moving forward. Okay. Next up, we have a Blade HQ exclusive. This is the Lum Tanto. And this uses M390 steel. It's got the OD green G10 scales. This one, let's see, was in late October of 2022. This one I paid quite a lot for. This one was $290. It's hefty, but it's probably got that lum tax on it. I do like it. I don't typically carry Tantos, but I do love the profile on the blade that Bob Lum does. Or, well, the late Bob Lum. But yeah, this is a cool one. So liner lock. The liner is even blacked out. It's got great ergonomics on this one too. So when I saw the satin version pop up, which is more recent, late August of 2024, this one was $250, but basically the same recipe except for a different, non-coated steel. The liners do match, satin liners. Let's see, I'm gonna test this as I get closer. Does it go? Okay. Yeah. I don't know if you guys are noticing, but the background keeps like zooming in and out of the focus. I don't know what's going on with my camera today, but okay. All right, and this one is the Crucarta version of the Military 2. This one I picked up in, let's see, June of 2024, and this is retailed at $228, but I ended up getting a deal on this. I think it was during one of Spydercos sales, like the no IMAP sale, and I was able to pick this up for $175, which I think is a steal. It's considerably, it's more than $50 off the retail price for this. And the Military 2 has always been that model where all the people who did not like the tip down carry on a Military 1, people who prefer the compression lock versus a liner or a frame lock. So this was the answer to those those feedbacks. But I really like it. I think Spyderco does a good job on the micarta. It's grippy. I've got a few of the Crucarta formats in some of my other Spyderco models. Drop shuts, great action. Gives you the full cutting edge as you would a Military 1, but now just more options. Right, tip up, tip down, left and right. Compression lock. Yeah, so I do like this, and so far it's gonna stay in the collection. Next up, we have the Native 5. This one is also a Frankened version of the Native 5, and I'll get into that in just a moment, but I got this around late August of 2020, and based on what the materials are left over, I'm documenting this at about $165. What I mean by that is, this is two different exclusives. The blade, which is in 4V, is from the St. Nick Knives exclusive, where it has the red G10 scales. And the scales, which this is a smooth G10, had the Crewwear satin steel from the Knife Center exclusive. I feel like Spydercos is a great platform to mix steels and handles to make it how you like it. So that's exactly what I did. I ended up selling what was left over, but I do like this. The Native 5 it's probably one of my at least top 10 models in the Spyderco lineup. Again, I prefer larger knives, so I don't carry this too often. But when I want something a little lighter and smaller, I do pick this up and throw this in the pocket. I believe I've sharpened this up too. And then 4V steel sharpened up really nice. Just from experience, when you're sharpening using diamond stones, I don't really find, it's just not much that you can't get through. But I really like this. I've had quite a few Native 5s in my collection, but this is the only one that stuck around. At some point, I just had to tell myself, I cannot continue collecting multiple variations for every model that I like. It was getting too much. So, and here, yeah, one of my favorites. Staying in the collection. All right, next two knives are going to be the Para 3. This one is the, looks like, okay, so actually I have 3 Para 3s. One of them is a pink G10 with the S45VN. Not sure if it was an exclusive from Knife Joy, but I bought it from Knife Joy. But it's in my daughter's collection, so it's not here because technically it's not my collection. So I'm actually planning to do a video on just my daughter's knives, and so that will be in the future. Anywho, this is the Maxamet version with the kind of like darkish gray G10 scales, but I've modified it. I've swapped it out to titanium scales with a Lynch North. See, this one is the MXG Gear deep carry pocket clip. Just as a, yeah, so you can tell the difference, right? Like this part, this is a little wider, and yeah, and I just want to show you the difference. But anywho, I don't recall where I got the scales from. The knife itself, without the customizations, well, looks like I include the customizations. I think it was around 170. I don't recall exactly, but I have put it to use. As you can see, there is a patina on the blade. I do love how tool steals patina from use. So that's one of my favorite parts of using a tool steel. And I tend to usually get the patina by cutting out my steaks whenever that occasion occurs. Para 3 I do like a lot, and I'm surprised I don't have more models. I've probably had 5 or 6 throughout my my time in this hobby, but this one stuck around just because the Maxamet steel. When I picked up these scales, I was excited for it. I mean, I still like them, but sometimes it feels a little too busy, right? And if anything, it would have been nice if this entire pattern would spread throughout the handle rather than having it cut off right there. But it's just me critiquing my own tastes. I mean, it looked good at the time when I purchased it. This one was, did I mention? I apologize. So I got this one back in July of 2019, the stock version. And then I think a couple years later, I picked up the titanium scales with the pocket clip. And the next one is another Para 3, but this is the Para 3 lightweight. This is the, so it started out as a River's Edge Cutlery exclusive. Again, it's using kind of their recipe for their exclusives. It's got the FDE CTS 204P steel, and the colors of everything is very similar to, well, it's a little darker, right? So these scales are AWT, which is Applied Weapons Technology. They're aluminum, and this is what they call their sniper green. And I do have a Lynch Northwest deep carry pocket clip on it as well. And I've done some videos on this, a short first impressions video. I think I've done a disassembly video on this as well. But yeah, I really like this. I wasn't planning to pick up another Para 3, but I missed out on the original G10 version of the River's Edge cutlery exclusive for the Para 3. So I figured I'd pick up the lightweight. Now, this is kind of off topic, but the Spyderco reveal recently that was released, they have a 15V version of the lightweight coming out, which is probably one I'm going to go after. But I do like this though. The AWT scales does tremendous transformation to this knife, in my opinion. Alright, let's see what's next on the list. We have the Spyderco Paysan. This is a Peter Rosenti designed, inspired, because he has a Paysan in his custom knives. Him and Spyderco collaborated to create one of his models, manufactured by Spyderco. This uses the S90V steel, and I picked this one up in mid-February of 2018. And this, I had it on pre-order from Blade HQ, and this was, I think, $515. It's gone up since then, and I don't know if they discontinued it. But, oh man, my focus keeps going in and out. Really sorry about that, guys and girls. This runs on bearings. So, I've taken this apart a few times. I actually ended up buying thick washers from Skiffs. I haven't put them in yet, but eventually I'll get to it. And it's also wearing a deep carry pocket clip. I want to say this is Lynch as well. It's either Lynch or MXG gear, but those are only two I really go for. And this is an integral, so one solid piece of titanium. For a while, I don't know if it was discontinued, but they weren't making any batches of these, and they were hard to find for a while, but then they brought them back out. Oh man, this zooming in and out is really annoying me. And I'm sure it's annoying the viewers too, right? Right. So lower. Okay. Man, it's killing me. Anywho, next up we have the P.I.T.S, which is actually P.I.T.S, I think, not literally P.I.T.S, but it's an acronym. Don't recall what it stands for, but let's see what information I have. This is designed by Mike Reed. Let's see, man, yeah. And it's manufactured in Italy. It's got M390 steel, and this is the only non-locking folder next to my traditionals that I have. And it's really cool. I mean, the idea is if you put enough pressure here, it should keep it from unlocking, but I'm not sure if you hold it right there and something pushes against it, will it? Yeah, I feel like it still will lock. But anywho, it does gives a lot of, when it's locked up, it's pretty solid. And I usually will carry this when I'm entering, or if I'm gonna be in an area where locking knives are either not allowed or, whatnot. I added a Lynch kit clip to this as well. And this one I picked up in July of 2022. This was $280. So definitely a cool piece. Feels great in the hand too. So, all right. I'm gonna try to get through the video because this zooming in and out is really annoying me, and I don't know what's going on, but all right, Sage 5. This is the one with Rex 121, and it's using that burnt orange recipe that Spyderco has on some of the other exclusive sprints that they've released. This one I picked up in August of 2024, late August, and this was $300. So I did get a bit of a discount using reward points. Can't recall where I picked it up from, but I've had my buddy from Instagram, he's also on YouTube. His name is Boston Blade Works, and he sharpened it up to a mirror polish, which I've already used, so you probably can't tell that it's mirrored, the edge is mirrored. But I also went and put this through quite a few stakes to get that patina on there. All right, guys, the trick is to focus on the knife only, so that way you're not, oh God. Don't know what's going on with my camera, but maybe if I just move really slow. You know, I feel like the update I got recently from Apple did something to the focus on my camera, but it's annoying. So, oh, and I do have a Rips Garage Tech pocket clip on here as well. It's titanium. Okay. Next up, we have the Slysz Bowie, and this one is, well, Bowie or Bowie. This is, picked this one up in June of 2021. This is a knife Joy exclusive. And, you know, they use instead of the, what, I think CTS XHP was the original steel, they're using M390, and they have the anodized titanium, and blue anodized titanium, rather than the raw kind of dark titanium on the original Slysz Bowie. I've also got a DK pocket clip on this one. And just hold real still, so stop zooming in and out. Oh, and it did it again. Stop it. Yeah, I put this to use. You can see all the snail trails I have on the titanium. But this is actually I've had 3 of these. And I ended up selling 2, one to a friend, one on the secondary market. All right, next up, we have the Spyderco Spydie Chef. This one, I picked it up in February of 2019. This was $217 to what I paid. It's more expensive now. I think it's like around $235 for this. This is actually the second time I picked up this knife. And I'll tell you a funny story. Is it funny? I don't know. I'll let you determine that. So when I first got into this hobby, you know, I watched a lot of YouTube videos. Jim Skeleton was one of them, Nick Shabazz. And I also started listening to Knife Nuts podcast. I think Levon is like one of the head people there, Jake. There's a few other people's names I can't recall. But on one episode, I recall one of the members of Knife Nuts podcast started talking about how they didn't like the scratches that LC200N picked up. And I had the Spydie Chef at that time, and I was like, oh, you know what? I don't want that either. And I ended up selling it. And I thought that was kind of silly, right? Because I actually enjoy wear on my knives. But possibly when I listened to that episode, which was many years ago, I didn't. So I went ahead and rebought this knife. And this is the pre-CQI. So it doesn't have the black hardware. The newer ones do. The CQI is constant quality improvement from Spyderco. That's the term they use. Oh man, this zooming in and out is killing me. I don't know if it's the lighting or what. I want to keep it low. Sorry guys and girls. But it's got the Lynch Northwest DK clip on this one as well. And this one does have scratches. I mean, he wasn't wrong. It does pick up scratches fairly easily, but I love it. This is one of my favorite models as well. It'd be cool if they created some variations of this one, but yeah, I remember going on a trip to Bodega Bay with my wife and her friends, and I used this to do a lot of the food prep because the knives at the Airbnb were, in my opinion, quite garbage. So, all right. Next up, we have the Flash Batch SpyMyto. This one I picked up in May of 2024. This was $231. I had some points, I think, so I got it for a little bit less. But the Flash Batch, and it's supposed to tell you, right? Where did this say? Well, actually it doesn't. It says it on the, oh, right there. This is number 70 of 2000. I don't know if you can see that. Well, it's right there. It tells you the serial number out of how many right there. So this is number 70 of 2000. I like it, and you can remove the thumb, the flipper. So just rely solely on the thumb hole if you wanted. I think my real only criticism about this is that the pocket clip, my opinion, could have been designed better. It kind of creates a hot spot right here because it's protruding so much. The liner, the lock itself, this part, they should have done more relief because I've slipped a few times trying to disengage, and yeah. So those are two things I think could have been improved on this model. But overall, it's nice. It's got a really nice look to it with the micarta front scale. It's titanium on the back. It's collaboration with line steel. So I do like it, but definitely areas of improvement in my opinion. Okay, so this is the Stretch 2 XL. I got this one in December of 2022. This one was a little pricey too, $285. It's got your gray G10 scales and it's using a Cruwear steel. Seki Japan's where it's manufactured. I like it a lot though. Again, I like large knives and this definitely fits the bill. I've used it quite a bit, starting to patina a bit as well. It's using your back lock. No customizations I've done to this. I like the Spyderco spoon out or the hourglass clip. I've been corrected by CNY Knife Nut that it's the hourglass clip, not the spoon clip. And so I like it. I think it works very well. It's very effective. It is stainless steel though, so it's not bendable back and forth. You will snap it, so be careful if that's something you're thinking about doing, because I actually have tested that before. I wanted to reduce the ramp on my Manix 2 S10V version a long time ago, and I ended up snapping the clip. So that's the live and learn lesson that I had back then. Yeah, I do like this model. All right. So next one I have is the Subvert. This is different, right? Because I think they only have two versions that they've manufactured. They've created the orange one, orange G10, and they have a carbon fiber one. So this one I got off the secondary market off Blade Forums in June of 2022, and I paid $305 for this. This had the G10 scales Cerakoted by, I want to say, River's Edge Cutlery, from what I recall. And it's a bad boy. Like it fills the hand, very thick, right? If you can tell. I really liked this when I saw it. I just didn't really care for the orange. So not that I don't like orange knives, as you can see. All right. So, but it was kind of like a bright orange. And so I didn't pick it up for the longest time, and I saw this pop up. Now, you'll notice there's no pocket clip on here. And what was I trying to do? I think I was just trying to test different pocket clips, something like that. So you can see, oh God, stop zooming, stop focusing. Okay, there's bits of orange right there because underneath this color is the original orange G10 color. Oh man, it's killing me. But I don't know if it's because the Cerakote, maybe it didn't dry in time, or I don't know how the process works, but when I was trying to remove the pocket clips, one of the screws, it just snapped off. Not entirely sure because I believe that pocket screw, actually no. So I don't know, I just haven't taken the time to take it apart, but I actually like it without the pocket clip. It feels a lot better ergonomically. I was actually thinking about just going to a buddy of mine who's on Blade Forums and asking if he can do a custom sheath to fit this knife and actually the Delica 4, because while I do like the knife, the clip, kind of, there's a lot of tension right here and it's a bit of a hot spot. And so I wanted to see if he can make a custom sheath that can accommodate the Delica 4 I have as well as the Subvert. I think that'd be cool because I would definitely rock that because you get two different knife blades, two different shapes and sizes. And so I just haven't done that yet, but I keep this one in the car for I don't know what reason, right? Why not? I have a few knives I can spare, so I put one in the car, and this one does not have a pocket clip. So, but I really like it. With the pocket clip, I actually didn't really. There was quite a bit of hot spots in my opinion. So, all right, down to the last one. Again, this doesn't include my Manix collections, my PM2, Shamans, and Militaries, but this one's very special because my wife got this for me, and this is the first and only knife my wife has gotten me. And to me, it doesn't matter it's the only knife, but it holds a special place in my heart. And this is Yojimbo 2. You know what? I didn't recall putting the date of when this was purchased because I didn't buy it. It was a gift from my wife. But I believe it was for a special day, either Father's Day or my birthday. Oh, she's gonna kill me for not remembering, but yeah, I've always liked the Yojimbo. It actually feels really good in hand. It's got that aggressive Warncliffe blade shape. I do have a aftermarket clip. I don't recall where this is from, but I believe I got this. I want to say it's probably MXG gear, but yeah, it's definitely not a Lynch Northwest clip. That's for certain. And I do carry this every so often. It's been a while since I have, but I do like this. Yeah, I'm surprised I don't have a Yojimbo in my collection, even though I was able to get I had the opportunity to test a Yojimbo out when Mike from Boston Blade Works sent me his to do a review on. Anywho, he had a carbon fiber sprint run, so I might have to go after one of those. Well, actually, no. They're dropping the Crucarta version of the Yojimbo. Yojimbo or Yojimbo? I'm gonna have to double check, but on the Spyderco review, there was a, I believe it's the Sprint that's coming out. If it's either the Crucarta or it is the 15V version, but all right. Well, this concludes my Spyderco collection, aside from the 4 models that I mentioned at the beginning and end of this video. Again, if there's anything you want to see like an in-depth review on, if you have questions about, I'd be happy to look into it. I will link as many of the videos that I've done, either first impressions, for review, disassembly, whatever. I'll link it in the description so that we can access those if you're interested. But yeah, let me know in the comments if there's anything you want to see a more in-depth review about, if you have any questions, if there's anything you want to correct me on that I said incorrectly. You know, as part of me doing these YouTube videos, it's also very important that I continue to learn about this industry, this hobby. It's brought me a lot of joy, right? I'm going to work on doing my next collection video. Again, I'm going to segment them out. I've done a Rick Hendry collection. I've done a Chris Reeve collection. So I'll probably move on to some other models and do kind of like maybe a titanium collection version, a carbon fiber version, whatnot. But this is the sum of my Spydercos. That's not the PM2, Manix 2, Manix, Shaman, Military. Those are the second 2 will be coming in the future. Anywho, really appreciate your time. I truly apologize for what was happening with the focusing. Hopefully I didn't get anybody dizzy, but yeah. Anywho, enjoy the rest of your day, and as always, stay frosty.